morning. It is morning huddle time. I'm Chad Prinky here alongside Stacey Holzinger, as always.
The nature of the beast is the competitive nature of the industry.
Is if you can see it, you can be it.
It's all about the people. The people are what make it great and worthwhile.
Yeah, anything that I think helps build the story behind the company is great.
These are the things that that you're like, we don't need that because we have plenty of work right now. Got it. But if you don't do it now, where are you going to have work in the future? Stacey, I missed you.
We're back.
We're back. It's morning huddle time. Chad Prinky here alongside Stacey Holzinger. Stacey, how are you today?
I'm doing good. What have you been up to?
So I had this really good idea where we would move during the holidays. I was like, wouldn't that be neat if we could figure out a way to move in the middle of the holiday? It was such a show. The virtual background is just masking boxes, Stace. That's what's going on.
Okay, gotcha.
It's rough down here. It's rough down here. Yeah.
How was your year overall with the business?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
How was your year overall with the business?
So we literally hit this sounds crazy. We hit every single goal. Everything that we said we wanted to do, we did. Everything, every metric, every thing that we said we wanted to try to do. It made me wonder if we set our goals too low. So this year I freaked out my team and was like, we're going to do it again. They were like, oh, man, you can't do this back to back. So we're aiming for even more aggressive growth. We've got, we've hired, I think we hired like 3 people in the last quarter of the year, and yeah, we're flying. It's going really well. It's a very, that term humbling, right? Like, I think some people use that. I know I've used that word incorrectly. I hope that I'm using it right here in that things are going really well. I'm looking around and I'm kind of going like, really? Have I done stuff to deserve these awesome people? Because it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
We all feel like that, I think, at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how about for you? How was 24?
I had another really great year. I just celebrated 4 years in business, and then we launched the Chat CT, and that's going great. We got more funding for that. I just got awarded a $1,000 scholarship that I presented yesterday to Thomas Edison University.
Nice.
So, yeah, the purpose part of what I do and the passion part is coming out this year, and that leads to more business, just being, in the community and serving with purpose. So it's been a really great year.
That is, I think, the secret to your success, Stacey. I just watch you doing things that you're passionate about and kind of trusting that everything will work out.
Yeah, I really would love to help more contractors find a purpose other than just profitability.
Yeah, sure.
They really struggle with that and identifying their mission, their vision, and values. It's like they concentrate on the work quality and the people and the projects, and that's definitely important. But there's one more piece that needs to be added, I think.
Yeah. I think, well, man, if that isn't a good segue to our guest,
there you go.
Right? Like that's a nice little tee up. I'm going to bring in Ed DeAngelis. So Ed, welcome to the Morning Huddle. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Chad. Good morning, Stacey.
Good morning.
So today's topic is making humanity a strategy in your business. And Stacey just kind of said something that I couldn't help it. I had to immediately use that as a transition because I think that's something that Ed and his business have done, and clearly it has been recognized for it. So EDA has been recognized multiple times. It's a contracting business in Philly. I'll let Ed dig deeper into exactly what they do and where they do it and all that jazz. But this is a contractor operating in Philadelphia that has won Best Places to Work, I think 2 of the last 3 years, and the 24. I don't know if 24 numbers are out yet. My bet is you'll probably be at the top there again, as long as you're still participating in that. And, really, Ed and his business came to our attention through Matt Verderamo, who is, on my team and one of our hosts and somebody that gets involved here, because Matt pays attention to companies that share his values. And so there was an interaction where Matt reached out to me and he said, "Hey, would you be open to me teeing up somebody for the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you have in mind?" And he just started gushing about your business, Ed. Right? And you know, you don't know him, he doesn't know you, but he thinks the world of you.
Kind of him.
Yeah. So and so I think that's why you're here, is to talk about what EDA is doing to find that extra meaning that you know Stacey's talking about, and that extra drive, that what is it beyond profitability that gets you guys going. So with that, Ed, tell us all about EDA. What do you do? You know, where do you do it? All that kind of stuff. Just kind of the fundamentals.
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, thank you for inviting me, and thank you to Matt for thinking of me and having those nice things to say about some of the things we've been doing. Yeah, we're very proud of what we've done, and it's nice to hear that there's some positive, you know, reaction to some of the things we do. We don't do it for the exterior; we do it really for the interior. But we know that it'll ultimately impact the exterior of our organization. So what do? You know, we call ourselves an exterior envelope contractor. So we do wall panels, masonry. We just purchased the assets of glazing. We do air and vapor barrier, waterproofing, roofing. We do the kind of the exterior of commercial industrial buildings. We do it in areas right now. We're in Philadelphia and New Jersey, northern New Jersey, New York. We go down to Delaware, you know, every once in a while, but mainly I would say it's Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York.
Yep.
That's our territory.
And roughly how many employees do you guys have?
450, about 450.
450 employees. Wow.
Correct.
That's amazing.
Correct. So we're spread out all over.
Did you start the business?
I did. I started the business in 1999, which means last year we celebrated our 25-year anniversary, which is amazing. It seemed like it went in 2 minutes, but if you have children, you know what that's like.
Yeah.
So it flies by in a second. But yes, I started in 1999.
Phenomenal. Okay, great. So founder of the business.
Yes.
25-year-old company that you've been able to grow to 450 employees. From zero, which is awesome. And you know, first question, just because I can't help digging into this with founders, entrepreneurs. Why'd you start the business?
I think that's a great question. And I think I always tell this story because I think it's an important one. Where I grew up, you could be a paper boy. So we lived in row homes where, you know, I used to deliver the paper in the afternoon, which was called the Bulletin. It's long gone. Anybody who would be listening here wouldn't even know. So then it went to the Inquirer, which means I had to wake up at 4:00 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning to go get my papers and then deliver the papers. And the reason I say that was kind of the impetus for me was my parents didn't give me a lot. Not that we were middle class.
Yeah.
So they said, if you want those Converse sneakers back in the day, you're going to have to earn some additional money. I'm only 12. You know, I mean, I'm in 7th grade, I think, 6th grade. So once you start doing it, I felt, I should say, this entrepreneurship that if I get more papers, I can make more money. If I do the job well, I get good tips. If I do it poorly, I get reprimanded intently. No one cares if there's no internet. If I miss the paper, Mr. Wilson is going to have my head and he's going to complain to me every day. So, you know, I think, and my father owned a construction business, an HVAC business. So I think there was a bug in me always that was going to be something. But I tell that story because I think sometimes there's things in your life that you look back and you go, that meant something to me because it made me feel good to earn my own money. It made me understand responsibility. I mean, think about it. I had accounting. I had customer service. I had to deal with adults all the time, and I'm only 12. You know, so, but it also made me feel good because now I'm with my friends and we all lived kind of in the same homes, and I'm the one who had money.
Right. Yeah. You were like, you guys want a pizza?
You guys, right. You know, I got it.
Yeah, I'll
it was
get the
like
pizza.
that.
I'll get the pizza. Yeah, I know.
So
I know the feeling. Yeah.
I think that gave me some of that energy as I kept, growing up. Again, my father was, his own entrepreneur, but I think that was one of the things that really kind of spurred me, I think, to want to start my own thing. And I had a lot of ideas, and as we go through this conversation, you'll see I'm very opinionated. I think I have a lot of thoughts. Whether I'm right or wrong doesn't matter. It's what I think, and I'd like to kind of implement them. So even if someone else would say, Ed, why do you always say hi to Mr. Wilson? I'm like, because he's on my route.
Yeah.
If he's going to his car, it's going to benefit me if I'm nice to him. He's going to give me a good tip.
And so, and this is, man, I can see some trends here in your thinking, Ed, where that carries over for you into not only your customers, but obviously now into your employee base, where I guess at its core, just this thought that if I do the right thing, if I make people happy, if I work hard to make people happy, that's gonna benefit me, right? Like,
Chad, you hit it right on it. It's as simple as that. At times we hold each other accountable. Mr. Wilson held me accountable. I didn't like sometimes some of the things he would either say to me or whatever, but at the end of the day, if we created a relationship, we were both going to do better. He was going to get his paper when he wanted. He was going to have a paper boy that he enjoyed being around, and I enjoyed him as a customer. And yes, we might have gotten in an argument. He might say, why are you 5 minutes late? I mean, again, I'm saying Mr. Wilson was every other door, meaning people would be standing there waiting for the paper because, again, people don't remember in the internet world, yeah, you can have information immediately. But back then it was like, what happened last night?
Right.
So it was an exciting time. So yes, I think that is sometimes, let's boil it down. I'm a very big on simple.
Yeah.
Just make it simple. Like sometimes it is as simple as people just want to be happy. That doesn't mean that they're not held accountable. They want to be challenged, but at the end of the day, they want to feel like their life makes a difference and that what they're doing makes a difference. And sometimes they don't agree with the way I'm going to pay them or what role they're in, and they decide they want to be happier somewhere else, and that's okay. And they say, you know what? I think I can be happier somewhere else. And you go, that's fine. I don't have to hate you. That's understandable.
That's right.
Yeah.
You move on. So I think that is kind of the simple theme. And, we'll get into some of the other stuff that we do, obviously.
That's awesome. Stacey, you and Ed share a common background, right? This common upbringing, row homes in Philly. That sounds right.
Yeah, and when I say that, no one knows what I'm talking about. I think they call them townhouses here.
That's right, townhouses. Yeah. I always, when that first came in, Stacey, you would appreciate it. They go, hey, there's this townhouse for $450,000. I said, yeah, that's a row home.
That's
wanted a townhouse.
Exactly.
And my house, I think back now, this is back in 70s, but it was $13,000.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
We've rebranded row homes.
We definitely have.
Exactly what we've done. So, okay. Is there a point in your journey where the light bulb switches on for you and you start making this a priority? Or is this a priority from day one and you're always kind of, thinking, all right, I'm going to just make this the very best place to work and everything's going to take care of itself? Or is there a moment where you're you sort of, or a series of moments, right, where light bulbs go on in the business? How does it go down?
Chad and Stacey, I think what happens is any entrepreneur knows once you start it, you're in fear mode and you're in survival mode. To be fair, at that point, you're just trying to make transactions work so you can keep yourself in business.
100%.
Definitely.
So I don't want to sit here and tell anyone that in the beginning, and when I say the beginning, I'm talking about at least the first 5 years, I was in just panic of making sure I had two children at the time, young children. I had left a good job. My wife was happy that I'm doing what I want, but not exactly pleased that I did this.
And you and I have a very, very similar
That's very
story.
common.
Yes, so you're in survival mode. So really at that point, you're just trying to make things work. You're trying to see, how can I build a business that there's a function that I can be profitable with, meaning whatever I do, can I be profitable in this business? Can I do this?
Yeah.
You have faith in yourself, but you're trying to figure out the assets and the liabilities, do they match? Am I able to make some money? So the first 5 years for sure, I were a blur and I don't even remember. From 5 to 10 years in the business, you start going, okay, I'm starting to make this work.
Mhm.
This is working for me. Is this it? Am I just going to be profits only? Like, is this the only thing I'm going to get out of this thing? Am I going to, and I'm not saying I wasn't a good person and we weren't good to our employees and things like that. But there was a point about 10 years in where I said, you know what, I need to do some research for myself to say, is there more to this? And that Mr. Wilson story I told you in the beginning wasn't in my head for those first 5 to 10 years. It wasn't until I started to do a tremendous amount of research to go, can I be profitable? And can I do better with what makes us more powerful?
Mhm.
And then by reading, I read Good to Great. I read the Tony Hsieh Zappos story. I read Southwest Airlines. I read Starbucks. I mean, I did a tremendous amount of reading to try to figure out, is there something more?
It's great.
And so if you ask me, I would say, the 10 years to 12 years is then from those years, I was just trying to study and be it while everyone else is trying to do transactions. We've grown, but we haven't, we're not at obviously the size we're at now.
Mhm.
I'm trying to do some research. And I would tell any entrepreneur, if you're not committed to whatever change you're going to make, because this was everyone would say, what is wrong with you? Like, what's going on? Because I'm speaking a different language now.
Right.
And it took time. It takes time for everyone else to catch up to what you're trying to do.
No doubt. Yeah. You start coming back to your, right. You start coming, I'm picturing this and like, I'm getting this funny picture in my mind and I've been a part of it. I think, my business
Yes.
is leading these kinds of transformations, inside businesses. Stacey comes in and helps companies to totally rethink how they're positioning their brand and going to market and what they say about themselves. And so we both, I think, have a front row seat to what you're talking about, but I'm picturing you going back to your team and being like,
I know.
we've got to do, and they're like, holy, Ed's lost it. He's on some kumbaya stuff. I don't know what's going on.
That is Chad and Stacey. I'm so glad you said that because I think that's the first thing every entrepreneur and everybody has to recognize. That's exactly when I walked in, because if you've read Good to Great, the one thing that we wanted to do is we created a committee to come up with values.
Yeah.
What are our core values?
You can figure out how to put the right people in the right seats on the bus and make sure you attract the right people. Yep.
So everybody sitting there is like, when are we going to start talking about the stuff that is on fire over here? And I'm like, we're not talking about any of that.
Yeah.
And
hard.
It was hard and, it was difficult. But as, I think we're up to maybe our 7th straight year of best business.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that.
Places to work. It really worked out. But those beginning parts, like you had mentioned, is something that someone has to be the leader of that. And it has to be someone in the executive role, some sort of executive role, because it will not work if I had farmed this out to somebody else. Mm-hmm. They have to feel that I'm 100% committed to this process of investing time and money to create this which we can get to, which will ultimately you will see success from. But it's not a short-term commitment. This isn't a new machine that all of a sudden is going to give you better profits because your machine's going to be more efficient. You're trying to create a relationship with human beings.
Yeah.
And that takes a little more time and effort, for sure.
So let's talk about some of like the first major shifts you start making in the business that change. Maybe it's that year 12, 15, 20, somewhere in that range. But as you start to really make change and it goes from theory into application, what are some of the big shifts that you make in the business?
So some of the things that, like I said earlier, first thing we did was we created core values. Who
Yep.
do we want to be?
Yeah.
What are the values? We spent 9 months talking about words and the definitions of our core values. If you look at our core values, they were grinded out for 9 months.
Yeah.
That's the first thing we wanted to do. And then we were able to establish a mission and a vision. Like, what is our mission? What is our vision? And that was and the most important part is don't do it without your team.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it by yourself.
Couldn't agree more. Yep. There are some books out there that are like, you're the CEO, go away and make all these decisions, come back and tell your team. And I'm like, man, I think that's a really challenging way to do it. Your people are smart. They know what's what.
The most valuable asset you have is your people. The most valuable machine, if you want to call it, is your people. The people are the most. So if I don't include them, now I'm going to be the most immersed in this. I get that. But if I don't include them in, then they're not going to buy in. And it takes some time to create that buy-in.
Yeah, I think that's right.
We did that for a while. We had meetings every month. We would have what was called a culture team meeting. And that's all we spoke about. We did not speak about anything that was going on in our business. We only spoke about how to create a culture. What does it look like? I had no idea what I was doing. So it was a little bit rough in the beginning. Till a couple years, maybe 2 years in, they said, hey, can you bring someone else in to help organize this a little bit?
Yeah.
Because, I was that's not my business.
Mm-hmm.
We brought in outside consultants to come in to give us value. Now that costs you money.
Yep.
You got to spend money to make money. I mean, I'm a firm believer of that. And that's what we did. So then we brought in and we had tremendous amount of growth in that meeting because now this individual is taking us on a more structured approach on how we're going to create more to what we're doing as it relates to how do we get this infected into our business? How do we get people to start speaking about that? And I'll get to that because I want to talk to you about that, because the thing is, I will tell you, just as a bit, you're going to have a lot of people say this is a bunch of garbage. This is not true. But there's going to be a whole other side that are like, this is exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what I needed. I want to be at a place like this.
Once you decide, Ed, who you are committed to being as a company,
yes,
inevitably there will be people who say that's not me. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's why you do it. It sucks. It's hard because you like a lot of these people, and some of these people are friends, and that type of stuff. But if I could read between the lines, I think a part of what I could surmise is you lost some people.
We did, and we still, and the only thing I will tell you is we didn't lose as many in the beginning because we didn't do it as hard in the beginning because I was even afraid.
Yeah.
And now that we've seen tremendous success from it, now we are even more adamant.
Do you think you should have gone harder, faster?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was afraid because this transactional person who was excellent at what they did, but didn't buy into this other part of the business. Wow, I am racking my brain with what that is. I've now, through time, have realized that is exactly what I can't have. Even if the transaction may cost me a nickel today, I'm going to save myself $1 tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, if someone's not bought into who you are as a business, they're not going to be there, because they're the ones that are making decisions for the betterment of the company when nobody's around, and you need to have them on board. So it's a great question. I don't know the answer, whether I could have done it.
I think it's probably healthy that you don't sit there and have regrets. I was just wondering if you've had that inclination, like, man, if there, like when I started my business in 2021. When I started my business, same as you, survival mode, trying to figure it out, all that type of stuff. It was the end of 2022. The only thing that I regretted was that I didn't do it in like 2018. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I wish I'd have done this a lot sooner. So I just had that immediate spark. And I wondered if you did, but maybe, wading into it was the appropriate thing for your business. If you just, shock everybody overnight, maybe that actually, your business can't, sustain that, right? Can't weather that kind of change.
Yeah, and I think that is true. I mean, it was already a shock.
Right.
They're talking about touchy-feely stuff. You're talking about feelings. You're talking about all this. I'm in the construction business.
Mm-hmm.
I got union construction workers with tats on their neck, we're talking about, because we're trying to take this down from executive level down through the organization.
Whole company, right.
So you just got to be patient. That, to be fair, they just need to be, number one, they need to know it's not a trick.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know that you're true and it's real. You believe it. They're going to test you. And your construction workers are the first ones that are going to test you the most, because they've been hurt and they've been used as tools in the past. And they don't want to have it happen. So they're very guarded. But when they buy in, they go, oh my gosh, this is what I want. This is who I need. And they say, this is going to help me. And that's why we'll get to humanity as a strategy, because at the end of the day, they just become so much more powerful, because now they are the ones who are speaking it. So I regret, I wish I would have done some of it sooner, but I can't sit here and tell you that I was even ready. I'm still an entrepreneur who started a business, who still had fear about, even though we're at this level, it's hard to change that. But now every year I get even more committed, because of the success that I've seen when you're committed to it. And if you take that transactional person who has no interest in buying into the culture that you're trying to believe, you're better to let them go.
Yeah, you are. You're better to, and
it's better for them. It's better for you.
It's really, really hard when you're, especially when you're smaller, and when you really count on certain people. You're like, oh my gosh, I really can't afford to lose that person. But you're right. It's not. Nobody's actually happy. In that misfit environment. Okay. I can't believe that we already are a half an hour in, and I want to make sure that we keep our show to something close to 45 minutes. So I want to go through your values real quick, and I don't want to spend time on each one. Okay. But sure. What I want you to, I'm going to buzz through them, and then I want you to talk about some of the things that maybe you guys are doing that were like not easy business decisions, but that you choose to do different to match up with these values. So I've got smile, laugh, enjoy life, live proactively.
Yes.
Build trust.
Yes.
Work proud. Exceed expectations. Be passionate. Demonstrate humility, and strive to improve. So these 8 values are sort of the guiding principles that your team lives by. Give me some proof, if you wouldn't mind. Like, what do you do to live those values that maybe aren't like maybe are kind of challenging business decisions, maybe cost you more money, but you do different.
So, I'm glad you mentioned them, and I'll take the simple one: smile, laugh, and enjoy life.
Yeah.
So at EDA, we created what's called a fund committee, EDA fund committee. So what we do is we give funds to this committee. I'm not on it. It's anybody can sign up for it. And we create events for all of our employees. They create them, not executive team. They create events that every single employee is invited to. These are get-togethers to just, whether it's bowling, whether it's a happy hour, whether it's, we've done fishing, we've done golfing, we've done a lot of things. You can't make smile, laugh, enjoy life if all you're doing is work.
Yeah.
So you need to get your people in an environment where they can just relax and just be with each other. So we have but you have to be intentional with it. So it has to be something that you invest in. We have people who run them. We have people who, it's not as easy as just like, let's go meet at the local, bowling alley.
Not at 450 people. You gotta put together a whole thing.
Right. And there's all kinds of different, and plus we're territorial. So New York people aren't going to come to Pennsylvania. So we have to have New York, and we have to have New Jersey, and we have to, so it takes a lot of time. So smile, laugh, and enjoy life. You have to make some intention with our fund committee. The other thing is, as leaders, we're taught to say hi to everyone. Hi. Be pleasant.
Yeah.
You can't say smile, laugh, enjoy life if you aren't practicing it. And that is something that you have to be intentional with. So we have, created leadership training around something like that to support smile, laugh, enjoy life. The other thing is recognize that people make mistakes. How do you react to the mistake is what they're going to remember, that's what they're going to remember. And when you say smile, laugh, enjoy life, that does not mean that you should be not holding people accountable. It just means that you know that life is more important, that is the most important thing in everyone's life is their own life and the lives of their loved ones.
Yeah.
So when you go smile, laugh, enjoy life, you go, look, is this the biggest thing in the world or is it not? And that's why if you create some time when people are together, we have a year end, it's coming up January 25th. We have one of the best, we call it New Year party, where we invite every single employee and their significant others to those events. We have picnics.
That's awesome.
These are investments of money and time.
So yeah, there's hard costs and soft costs associated
Absolutely.
with that, and there are, my gosh, I've watched this a whole bunch of times done not at all and done poorly, but I guarantee you're 6 figures into this, if not 7. By the time you're taking care, and I'm not asking you to say, but but I'm confident this is 6 figures or 7 figures.
It's a commitment so as a percentage of your business is the way we do it. Mm-hmm. So whatever your gross profit is, whatever the profits or however you do it within your business, take a percentage of that business. If I have more people, I have more expense, but it also means I have more opportunity to make more money.
That's right.
They're all the same. You got to spend money to make money. I believe in that. So this is part of some spending time and money to create a better environment. And if you say, well, does it work? Are you crazy? We're exploding. It absolutely works.
Especially for recruitment, I'm sure, right?
We have people, and I don't say this, I want to be very humble with it, but people want to work here.
Yeah.
People don't want to leave here. We can't get enough work to get as many people as we could get in here. We give opportunities for different types of people. So it is a tremendous benefit to have that thought process.
You are literally dealing with the exact opposite problem as the rest of the market. The rest of the market can get the work, but they can't get the people. I can't even actually, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what you just said. That's amazing that that there are enough people who would want to come and work at EDA that if you just had the work, you could fill them up. Now, along these lines, I'm going to make a prediction, and Ed and I have not talked about this, but I'm going to make a prediction. I'm interested to hear what you'd say on this.
Sure.
I would bet that you are priced competitively, but toward the top of your market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We provide services to our employees that ultimately provide services to our customer. For that, just like Southwest Sunlight, again, we expect a certain profit margin for that work, but we are priced competitively, but in the upper side of that. But I think all people in this country will pay the extra small amount for a different experience.
Definitely. Yeah.
And our customers want to know that the workers that are out there that are doing dangerous work at least have been given some teaching and are being cared for, not just physical safety, but mental safety, that they feel like they're at a place where they're valued. They will deliver something better. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We're not, I don't want to act like this is you do this and it's magic. It's just going to happen. But we are absolutely a value add to our customers. If you want the cheapest price, we are not the person that you're going to want to call.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the best value, we believe we're one of the best value because you're going to get the whole experience. Because when my construction workers are putting a piece of brick in, how do you know what they're doing is perfect or right if they're not in the right frame of mind? Now, that doesn't mean they're all in the right frame of mind, but they at least know that the company is doing things to at least give them some support to make them better at what they do, not just talent-wise, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in the right frame here? Can they be successful at what they're doing if they're not in the right frame of mind? So yes, Chad, we demand a different profit margin and a different level of it, but we call it a value add. If you want the value add, we're that.
I'm probably inside our client base famous for this quote,
Sure.
which is I
You have to
always
steal it. Just so you know.
I always say everybody wants to get paid more, but you actually have to be better. And if you're not better, nobody's going to give you a penny more for what you do. So, those that you can't want to make a higher profit margin and not work on being a better company. And fundamentally, Ed, you found that if I want to work on making a better company, I got to focus on making sure our team loves it here.
Absolutely.
Because if people are happy, it's not hard. People give you more. They're willing to be accountable. They want to be accountable. They help each other. It's amazing.
It is exactly what, and I want to hit on a value because it's an important one to us. So part of one of the values that is really important to me is demonstrate humility. And the way we do that, we expand that within our company, is we have something called EDA Cares. So what we do is we bring together employees. So we ask them, if you have a charity of your choice that you would like to lead, meaning that you come and bring it, we will support that charity. So we have about 12 members of that team. They bring their own charity to this group. The company funds it. And then we, most of the time, not just give money. That's not our role. The role is to include all the employees to support these charities that are driven by the employee.
Mm-hmm.
The humility part is it allows us to take profits from our business, put it into our community, but also put it into the things that are important to our people that they care about. We help, we have a bunch of charities for, whether it's for Make-A-Wish, whether it's for underprivileged children, for veterans, Heroic Gardens we support. These are local charities though. So most of the charities are local because we want to be in our communities and we want to take our profits that we make from our community and then put it back in our community. Mm-hmm. The humility part is you can't imagine the amount of pride my construction workers who do not get paid to go do work get when they go to help all these different organizations because they have all these tremendous skills and all they really needed was an opportunity to do it. And it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good, which then lets them be better as they move forward. So I say demonstrate humility, because they are really humble about giving themselves to others. All you need to give them is a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You give them a vehicle.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great example. And I think, overall, if you're an owner or an executive of a construction company and you're watching this and you're thinking, what are my takeaways? One of the things that I want to zoom in on is you got to put your money where your mouth is. You actually do have to invest. You actually do have to spend, some time and money on this stuff. And there are a lot of things that are free. Yes. There are a lot of things that are free, like your managers just making a commitment to saying hello to everybody every day.
Yes.
One of the best companies I've ever had the pleasure of working around. One of the things that they have culturally is that anytime one of their field staff is in the office, every office person shakes their hand as they walk by and they say thank you.
Mm.
It's just they just say, hey, thank you, thanks for what you're doing, man, thank you, appreciate your hard work. Right. In every parking lot it says, thank you for your hard work in both English and Spanish. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's an easy, it costs nothing, and it's genuine, it's real, and the impact that it's made on turnover is undeniable, because again, it's how I mean, this is just a human thing. We don't want to go places where we don't feel appreciated, and we don't want to leave places where we feel appreciated. That's it.
And that's why I say, you've spoken to it earlier. Humanity has a strategy. So think about the fact if you're just treating people better as humans and you create that strategy of how do I make them feel valuable?
Yeah.
And you create that strategy of, yes, simple things, inexpensive things, high, pleasant, holding them account, talk to them honestly. One of the things I want to make sure that everybody knows is in construction, think about this. The male population of construction is 75%, has a higher suicide rate, is 6 times more likely to commit suicide than the male and general population.
Yeah.
We do high stress work. We have a different type of mentality of how we do things. We need to make sure from a humanities standpoint that we're doing something to support this group that we've grown tremendously. I mean, again, we're at 450 today, but we've grown every single year. The only year that we did not grow is 08, 09, and then the COVID year. But ever since then, we have been on an upswing. So what I am speaking to as humanity is a strategy, I'm here to tell you it works.
Yeah.
Your business will do better. You will feel more fulfilled.
How many, and this is a very, very practical question, but I can imagine a lot of contractor listeners wanting to know, what percentage of your work is with GCs?
98%.
So am I hearing you right? That general contractors are actually willing to spend a couple more bucks to work with a trade contractor that's better?
Absolutely. Again, we don't do Walmarts. Now, no offense to Walmart. Walmart's a tremendous business. It's a great business.
You found a part of the market that will pay for it.
Yeah, your high-end institutional work, your airports,
hospitals, colleges, universities, airports,
universities.
Yep.
They want to make sure you have a sophisticated, but also a group that has an extra special difference. Now, I'm not saying again that we're perfect, but we are doing everything we can to deliver something better every single day. And the best way to do it is if each individual can get better, if they go home better, if they're happier when they go home, they're going to come into work the next day and they're going to be a little bit better. And a little bit better is a lot when you times it by 450.
That's right.
I think we over exceed what we charge. I think we deliver more than what, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. I want to give my customers more.
Yeah.
So they want to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want them to feel like, wow, that was a great experience. I want to have them again.
That's how you create this cycle of prosperity. Be better, get paid a little more, use those profits to be incredibly generous. Be better, get paid a little more, use those profits to be a little bit. I mean, it's a cycle. We're right up on time. Stacey, do we have any questions from the audience?
I have to ask 2 quick questions for you.
Sure.
One is from Juan. So he said, from your current place of experience, how would you change anything from the process of establishing your values, if anything?
I wouldn't change anything. So the process of our values was hard. It wasn't easy, but I think it was the only way we could do it. Just like when you're an entrepreneur, when you start a business, there's no easy way to do it. It's just hard. Yeah. And I tell future entrepreneurs, just be committed to it and you'll be okay.
So would you recommend that a new business owner maybe wait 5 years in and then hire, because you said your timeline was about 9 months to develop all those values, vision, and you hired a consultant? Would you recommend that? Like starting maybe 5 years in and then hiring a consultant to help you figure it out quicker?
What I think you should do is any of the person who wants to do it needs to go invest themselves first to make sure that you personally are committed to whatever this is. And then when you can articulate it well, you will then bring someone in to help supersize it for you. But if you're not there, don't expect a consultant to come in and supersize it because they don't have a beginning. You got to be the you got to be the beginning.
Ed, I'm going to carve up this interview and I'm going to use it in my sales presentations, right? Where I mean, it's 100% true. Like, I want to hire a consultant. I don't like my people. I kind of, I want to treat them like crap, but I want you to make this company better.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
If I'm hiring you, make it more profitable. Well, buddy, that's not the way it works.
No, consultants are there to supersize your own vision.
Yeah.
They will help articulate it, not do it for you. You have to do it.
Right.
Stacey, one other question, and then we got to wrap.
Yes, I have to ask about the ducks. Can you please tell us about the ducks?
So I will quickly tell you that we want to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired a company and we said, look, every construction company has big guy with muscles, has, I want to create something that kind of shakes up the market. This agency came up with, how about this duck? And the first iteration was tighter than a duck's. Right.
Watertight, tighter than a duck's.
So it was a great idea. And there was a cute duck. And everyone in my company hated it. But now it is a phenomenon. All my construction workers have a duck in their car. They have them at home. And it's just a symbolizes water tightness, but it also symbolizes that as a construction company, we're just human beings. And you know what? We just want to have fun, and it's just cute and it's nice. And even with men, it's fine.
I like.
So it wasn't my idea. The whole gritty thing. When gritty came, everyone hated gritty. Philadelphians hated gritty, but then when the rest of the country hated gritty, all of a sudden Philly was like, "Oh, we love gritty."
Gritty's ours.
Yeah, gritty's ours. We're owning
it. The cute yellow duck is ours, and it's been all over the world. So, but thank you for recognizing. But just to be different. So I'll leave you with this: if you're going to be an entrepreneur, how do you find your difference? What makes you different? And you're going to have to look outside and try to make yourself something different. All great businesses have done it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there are a bunch of different strategies out there. And this is just one option, though I would argue that it is an option that both helps your company to succeed and that it helps to make the construction industry a better place to work, which helps to attract more people in general. It changes the way that we view this industry. And so I applaud what you're doing, Ed. Congratulations on all of your success. Thank you so much for joining the Morning Huddle. I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, and I appreciate your forum because construction is $1 trillion business, and I think the more we take it as something as a serious business that has a tremendous amount of opportunity for a lot of people, I think this kind of programming is good because I think it gets some good voices out there. So thank you for inviting me, and I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
See ya.
All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stace, that was awesome. We both love Ed. That's great for different reasons. I think you got all that Philly stuff going, which is great. So real quick, tell us about next week.
Next week, Joe Wilson is joining us to talk about the data crisis in our industry.
It's awesome. Yeah. So short version, contractors have information scattered across like 10 different platforms, software platforms in their business. Very difficult to get all that information synthesized and understand what's really happening in your company. Mm-hmm. Joe is a specialist in solving that problem, and it's pretty cool to hear, the solutions that he's developed. So that's what we're doing. Stacey, thank you so much for, as always, helping to contribute to building an awesome guest list. I'm excited for, the next several months. We're rolling from now through May.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. See ya.
All right, see ya.